Заповядай, Химаншу. Само да кажа, че Химаншу е директор проучвания в търговията на дребно в Kantar Retail.
Is the mic working? Good. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this beautiful resort in Sadansky. I hope you've all had a lovely morning so far. Let me start by saying a word of thanks to Katya and the entire team at Progressive for organizing and inviting me over from London. Also, a special thanks to Angelos for a very insightful presentation. So thank you very much. Right, so as the title says, my name is Himanshu Pal. I am a Director of Retail Insights at Kantar Retail. Kantar Retail is a management consulting firm which specializes in retail and FMCG. What we do essentially is work with global retailers and FMCG players in helping them understand what's happening in the world of retail. What are the changes to expect in the future? And how do you start developing capabilities to win in that future? One of the topics that I'm often asked about is around trade promotion management, trade promotion optimization. It's a hot topic with a number of retailers and suppliers. And for good reason. Trade promotion or trade spending is the second biggest cost that FMCG suppliers incur after cost of goods sold. So it is a very important area of focus for them. When I talk about trade promotions, and I look at it, over the last 35 years, trade spending has increased by 5 times to roughly 25% at a global average. We heard from Katya this morning that in Bulgaria it's 17%, in Czech Republic it's 51%, in the Middle East, it's around 45 as well. So again, varied by markets, but it's a huge chunk of investment. Now, globally, if you put all the trade and promotion investment put together, it accounts to roughly $500 billion US. That amount is sufficient to save Greece and its debt 5 times over annually. That's the amount. So while globally FMCG players are spending $500 billion, not everybody is seeing success. 67% of that trade spending does not even break even, does not make money. It's phenomenal. So for every €1 that you spend, 67 cents are going a waste. And that's a big number. Now, the question is, why is this happening? Why is such a lot of investments not getting you the desired return? And the answer that I can figure out is that you need to be more intelligent about what's happening in the retail environment. Many a times, our promotions are not in sync with what the requirements of our consumers or shoppers, is not in sync with what our retail or trade partners want, and at times do not represent the conditions prevailing in the market. And as a result, they go waste. What I'm going to do over the next 45 to 50 minutes is going to give you some examples of what's happening in the European retail landscape, how is it changing, and what impact it has on trade promotions. Now, you might say, that's Europe, that's not Bulgaria. How does it bother me, right? My point of view on that is a very famous saying that Noah started building the ark much before the rain started coming down. So from your point of view, some of these trends or disruptions or opportunities might not be happening in Bulgaria at the moment, but it would eventually come. And the key is to be ready for that particular changes. The second thing you might say is, well, whenever they come, I hope things would fall in place. My answer to that is, hope is not a strategy. Don't rely on it. Right? So when I look at the world of retailing, I find it's changing. It's changing rapidly. Every day it's changing. So I've got a quick video, which is in English, but is quite theatrical, which will give you an idea of what's happening in the world of retailing. And we'll start from there. Right. One of the key things it said was the future is here, and you need to start getting ready for it. Now, how many of you have had an experience of working with management consultants? Not many. Now, one thing I'll tell you about management consultants, we love Hollywood. We take inspiration from Hollywood, from movies. So my next slide is something similar. When I look at the world of retailing, right, I think about a movie called The Perfect Storm. How many of you have seen this movie, The Perfect Storm? George, quite a few. Actually, that's good. Now, what made that particular storm a perfect storm? Now, what happened was there were 3 storms that converged at the same place at the same time. What we are seeing in the world of retailing is something similar, wherein all the variables that impact your business are changing at the same time. Whether that the market you operate in, the consumers or the shoppers that you try to serve, the channels that you serve through, whether that's discounters, online, hypermarkets, supermarkets, or whether that's your trade partners or customers that you work with, whether that's a Piccadilly, whether that's a Lidl, Coughlin, anybody. Everybody's going through a profound change, and that mandates you change because, as one wise man once said, insanity is in doing the same thing again and again, but expecting different results. So you've got to fundamentally change the way you think and approach the market in order to win in the future. So what I'm going to do is going to look at some of these factors, some of the variables, what's changing in them, how does it impact the world of trade promotions, and what can you learn from it. Let's start with the markets or the country. We saw the consumer confidence scores from Nielsen. Very interesting indeed. When you start looking towards the future, what has happened as a result of the economic crisis that we all went through is that Europe is now divided into 2 halves. What I call it as the East-West divide, wherein the traditional markets in Western Europe, like France, Germany, Italy, are not going to grow as fast as they used to in the past. While a number of markets in the Balkans, in Central and Eastern Europe, are still expected to grow 8% and above. Now, the next question to be asked is, how will this growth happen? While there are a number of opportunities to open new stores in a market like Bulgaria or Russia, in Western economies, retailers are looking to drive sales through like-for-like sales growth. Is everybody aware of the term like-for-like sales? Anybody does not know what like-for-like sales mean? So it's essentially the sales coming from the same stores last year. Now, in an idealistic scenario, you would say, I'm based in Bulgaria, there is still an opportunity to grow by adding new stores. The issue is, a number of retailers, and you'll see them tomorrow, will tell you that we do not have money or spare money to spend on opening new stores. What we want is to improve the productivity and performance of our existing stores. Now, how do you do that? And promotions become a key part of that. So if you look at Europe and you look at markets like the UK, a huge amount of money has been spent on promotions, right? Now, this particular photograph, it might look like a discounter, but actually it's Tesco, the leading hypermarket player in the UK. If you looked at the percentage amount spent on promotions in the last year, all the big leading supermarkets in the UK are spending more amount of money on promotions. So roughly 45 to 50% of their overall sales are sold on promotions. That's a huge amount. And again, varied amounts across different categories. So while people are spending a lot of money on promotions,